Hey everyone, and welcome to this Football Manager 2014 video where I'm going to be showing you some of the best Wonderkids on FM14. Now, I'm going by a fantastic list from FM Scout, which I'm sure most of you would have heard of, probably the most well-known fan Football Manager account out there. And they've produced a list of all the best Wonderkids. So I'm going to put this in the description of the video below, so you can click on that and look yourself. But I'm just going to show a few screenshots of some of the best ones, some of the obvious ones, and some of the ones I would suggest that I've had success with on the last couple of games, or I feel will be good quality players for you on FM14. So we'll start off with Goalkeepers, and this is Maxim Koval, my favourite goalkeeper from FM13. He's only 20 years old at the start of the game, and he is brilliant. He turns into a quality goalkeeper. Obviously, you've got the obvious players like ter Stegen and Courtois, who have been Wonderkids in the last couple of games and become the best keepers in the games. But if you want someone that's a bit cheaper, Koval is your man. He plays for Dynamo Kiev. Will probably cost you a fair amount, but he's cheaper than Courtois and ter Stegen, and he's just brilliant. I had him for Everton on FM13, and he just turned into a world-class goalkeeper. So I would highly recommend him. Germany seems to be producing so many brilliant Wonderkid goalkeepers at the moment. Obviously, I've mentioned ter Stegen, there's Bernd Leno, and then there was Ziegler a few years back. But Timo Horn's another one, a 20-year-old keeper, and who plays for Cologne, and he is just brilliant. He turns into a quality keeper. So yeah, another highly recommended goalkeeper that you can sign. In terms of English goalkeepers, you've got Stokes, Jack Butland, and Man United Sam Johnstone. Those are the two English goalkeepers that are on the Wonderkid list. Moving on to centre-backs, you've got the obvious Varane for Real Madrid, and you've got Marquinhos, the Brazilian who plays for PSG, who only moved this summer, 27 million. You're not going to be able to sign him, but if you're manager of PSG, he's one for the future, and he's a real star. Moving on to players you'll actually be able to sign, there's Doria, another Brazilian centre-back for Botafogo, only 18, and look at those stats, exceptional. Already has one cap for Brazil at the age of 18, that is brilliant. Will probably cost you a fair amount though, but if you're a big club, I would suggest signing him. This guy is extremely popular to sign on FM13, and he is just as good, if not better, on this game. The Danish Jorge Thorn, who plays for Aston Villa. He also only moved in the summer for 4 million, but he is a quality player. And lastly, we have Mattias Ginter, German centre-back, who plays for Freiburg. He has huge potential, so definitely worth trying to get him. Obviously, those are the real top ones. There's a long list of others which have high potential and probably will be cheaper, so remember to check out the list. Moving on to left backs, you've got the obvious Jetro Willems, PSV left back, who also has a few cups of Holland already, but he's a top quality player, and if you're a big club in the Premiership, I would go after him. Luke Shaw at Southampton has huge potential. Look at those stats for a 17-year-old. He is going to cost you a lot of money though. I've tried to sign him before, and I think they wanted 35 million, so once again you have to be a real mega rich team to be able to sign him. If you want someone who's a bit cheaper, also English, Dan Butler from Portsmouth. May not become world class or anything, but he's a good young player that will develop if you train him up well and play him, and will be a lot cheaper than signing someone like Luke Shaw, and will probably be good for a championship team. Moving on to right backs, we've got Wallace, the player that Chelsea signed in the summer. Fantastic Wonderkid, who's on loan at Inter Milan, but he's going to be a star on this game. Here's another Southampton player, Calum Chambers, a right back this time, has fantastic potential and will become amazing if you train him up, play him, send him out on loan. He's going to be a very good player to watch out for on FM14. Here's a right back from the Ivory Coast who plays for Toulouse, 20 years old, and is meant to become a good quality star on the game. Now on to defensive midfielders. We have Kondogbia, who is meant to be, well, an incredible central defensive midfielder. Plays for Monaco, so you won't really be able to sign him. But if you decide to do a Monaco save, he's a player that will develop nicely into one of the best, if not the best, defensive midfielder on the game. It's hard to find Wonderkids that haven't already been snapped up by big teams, but this is one guy that hasn't been. Srđan Mijaulović, Serbian, has already won caps for Serbia, but hasn't been snapped up by a massive team yet. So, although he has only just moved to this team, Kayserispor, but yeah, he's going to be a quality defensive midfielder. Here's another good quality defensive midfielder, plays for Napoli, only 19 and expected to be a really good player on FM14. Moving on to central midfielders, you've got the obvious players like Paul Pogba, Ward-Prowse that have been really good on the last couple of FMs. But also Nick Powell, who's obviously at Man United but on loan at Wigan. He's, if you train him up correctly and give him good loan spells, will turn into a world-class player, apparently, but we shall see. It's interesting to see Jorge Thorn on the FM scout list. 20 years old, West Brom central defensive midfielder or central midfielder. Apparently, can have the potential to be a really good player on the game. This guy from Gladbach, Granite Dehaka, is another. He's got great passing and good teamwork and is expected to be a top quality player. Already has 17 caps for Switzerland, so yeah, I reckon he will be very good. Once again, you've got the obvious choice of Julian Draxler on the left wing, who most people have heard of now. Unbelievable left winger for Schalke. You've also got players like El Shaarawy. I can never know how to pronounce his name, but he's another obvious choice as a left winger wonderkid. This guy for Fiorentina is meant to be a brilliant left winger from Croatia. Fantastic dribbling and flair. Should develop really. Now moving on to right wingers, we have Rodrigo Gomez, an Argentinian, plays for Argentinos. Great acceleration, dribbling, and should develop into a really good player on the. Next up is this guy, Ricciario Zivkovic, who is only 16 but has high potential, so definitely worth looking at him. Belgium seem to be producing so many brilliant players at the moment, and this is another one. Bruno for Anderlecht, 19 years old, has fantastic pace and dribbling, and is a top quality winger. Lastly, we have strikers. Now, you've got the obvious FM13, FM12 classics of Carlos Fierro, Sonogo, etc. But we've got this guy, Juan Fernando Quintero, 20-year-old, plays for Porto. If you're managing in Portugal with Porto, this is a brilliant player. Look at those stats for a 20-year-old, and is meant to become one of the best strikers on the game. Adam Campbell was brilliant on FM13, and he's brilliant on this as well. If you train him up correctly, he's got real potential to become one of the best strikers on the game. Wesley Said is meant to become another brilliant striker. Doesn't have amazing stats at the moment, finishing 10, composure 9, but if you train him up, he's meant to be class. And lastly, we'll end with an obvious beast, Lukaku. Obviously will become a world-class player in the game, so you might be able to sign him off Chelsea if Mourinho decides he doesn't want him. But yeah, what a player. And we'll end with that. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and any comments. If you've found some more players that aren't on the FM Scout list, remember to check that out before commenting, because they're all on here. Then put them in the comment section below. Thank you.